Well, hello everybody, it's Don here from Illinois Sasquatch. I've been gone for a while. I had some eye surgery and it took me a few weeks to mend, and I'm back out. And we're at a location I've been to before, and as I enter on this trail, first thing I see is a really prominent lean. Something that again, the bark is stripped off this leaner and it's laid right directly up here on this living tree. A little buggy in here today. We're going to proceed down this trail and we'll see how things go. Okay guys, it's about in the low 80s today in here with all the tree cover and mosquitoes. It's I'd say in the mid to high 70s right now. Had my eye surgery, had to recover from it. It's my first outing since that. I had my surgery over 2.5–3 weeks ago. It's pretty thick in here too, so pretty crazy. Mainly today I'm going to concentrate on looking for evidence of Sasquatch activity. And that's where I'm headed. Things have changed since I've been here. This trail area where I've been before was open. It's now blocked. We've got a pushover right here blocking the trail in. And it's pretty obvious. This was a living tree. And this trail was not blocked 4 weeks ago when I came through here. Yeah, it was what appears to be pushed over. We're going to cut around and take a look at it. A lot of stickers. Yeah, here it was. Wow. How interesting. Are we getting this? How interesting. This tree that was, I thought was pushed over, no root ball. It was snapped above the root ball and dragged in to this location. Yeah, I hope you guys are getting this. It's pretty undeniable stuff here. Yeah, this, I see nowhere where this fell. Well, it did fall from above and could have just ended up snapped here and broken off from this location up here. So I might have been too much in a hurry to assume it was dragged in place. It could have fell. Strangely enough, that's where it broke off from. Right there. And that's the location. Right there where it's laying. So it very well could have been wind. We've had some tornado force winds come through this area, but strangely enough, it fell directly over the trail right there I was walking up on. And I basically see where it fell from, which is up here. Get another view of that. It's a break off about a good 22 to 20 feet up in the air. Sorry for the shake, guys. There it is. Back off a little. That's the break off right up there, as you can see, going right up. Right there. Right there, sorry. Sort of tough using one good eye and my other eye still blurry from my surgery. There it is. Of course, my doctor said I'll get 2 lines of letters on the eye chart back when I fully recover, so I feel like a pirate. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. A lot of mosquitoes in this area. We've got some obvious bends and leans here. Mosquitoes are really thick today. Back on the trail. We're going to proceed ahead and see what we find. Right there is an older bend. As you can see, that's been there for some time. And here's another suspicious lean. What appears to be a living tree that was pushed over is leaned up right up there, laid up into the top of that tree. And there's one right behind it. Actually, that's a vine paralleling it. Got a distance howl in the background. I don't know if my audio picked it up. I just heard a distant howl. Oh, there's a double bend right there. I thought that was also interesting. I recorded that the last time I was here. There's one right there. And then right behind it, there's a second one. One thing I noticed about this little plot of woodland here, this little section of woodland, is there's a lot of tree bends, a lot of arches. Okay, a lot of things have changed since I've been here last time. Oh, we'll forge ahead. A lot of deadfall, a lot of down timber I noticed. There's another interesting arch. It's pinned right down there with this brush from a fallen branch. Branch was snapped off overhead and is laying right on the top of that sapling there. Created this interesting bend. And I'm not going to say it's not natural, but food for thought, everybody. I'm trying to avoid too much bushwhacking today. Mosquitoes are pretty thick. Trail here. See if I can get this. There appears to be an X right there. Yeah, I heard some movement, like a distant knock and a howl in this direction, just a couple minutes ago. So I'm just gonna try to check this area out quietly and move on. Back in the trail again. Several down trees in this area. I think this is from the storm. We had some high winds go through this area. There's some more down trees there. One right in front of me. I want to let you guys know this is probably going to be a short video today. Some more down trees. High winds took a toll. There's 3 or 4 huge trees, possibly half a dozen of them laying down here. Few game trails in here, not really too distinct because of all the overgrowth. We've had incredible rainfall almost every other day in this region. Areas where the brush has been pushed down, typical deer beds. Potential deer beds. See where the brush has been laid down right here. And over here. We're going to walk in to a section I've seen activity or heard activity. There's a small trail here. It's a footpath that people used to use. Now pretty much the deer and game animals use it. By the way, this tree here, this deadfall, this huge tree, was not here a month ago when I walked through here. Laid over this, what was left of a footpath. You can see where it broke off from, right there. Laid itself right across the trail. That could have been natural windfall. It just happened to fall directly over this path here. Swing around and continue in. gonna head in there. There's another huge recent snap, big tree snap, big living tree. And we've had a lot of high winds in this area because of the incredible storms we've had the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've had rain every other day and incredible high winds. That could have been due to wind force that knocked that tree over. Again, that tree is 4 weeks ago when I was here, that was not broken over. That's a fresh break. So it's all speculative, it's all questionable. I'm not saying it is or isn't Sasquatch. Just a huge amount of breaks in this area as of recent are highly suspicious. Going into that area there. I thought this was interesting here. Here's a tree stripped of its bark. A piece of deadfall stripped of its bark. Leaned right up into the crook of this tree right here. We're going to proceed over here. A lot of snaps and bends in this area. Yeah, there's the snap right there. You guys can see it with the sun's in my eyes right there. Snap's about 4.5 to 5 feet up. Now we're getting to some interesting bends. Right here looks like an area where it's been patted down. Something heavy has smashed down all this undergrowth and sticks and branches, and looks like it was laying here. Potentially a deer bed. I can't say what caused it. But right there you can see something was laying there right behind this break I just showed you. And then we get to this spot and we have a double bend, double arch, 2 saplings bent over, pinned down due to this recent break right here. And as you follow the break where the tree lays, you'll see 2 saplings that fell between and just happened to pin them down. As I look at the break right here, I follow it, and right there is where it came from. Possible ground X here. It's a weird angle. See a lot of ground X's in here, but again, they could be explained by deadfall, storm damage. There's the other break off I was talking about a second ago. That thing is snapped about 15 feet up. I'll even say 18 probably. Said I wasn't going to do any bushwhacking, and here I am walking through the weeds again. Well, the hazards of following evidence. As long as I stay away from the stinging nettle. There's a game trail right there. Something's been walking, you can tell where they've broken through the brush here. Just heard some footsteps to my left over here. Of course, we have plenty of squirrels and rabbits and coyotes in this area. Trudge ahead forward here. The stick leaned into the crook of this tree. I see a lot of that in this area. It's wedged in there pretty good. It's been there for a long time. I can't even pry it out. Some leans out in the distance, some tree leans in the distance there. I'm going to proceed through this area. A lot of deadfall hidden in these weeds, so I have to be careful as I'm walking. There's a tree that was there's the root ball of the tree that fell over here. trees on the ground. I fell on this smaller tree and snapped it over. Interesting how that tree was pushed over there, and then another one was laid right over the top of it with a sapling snapped right in the middle of it, and then another tree behind it snapped and leaning on itself where it was snapped. So some of this can be explained naturally. There's another, what I thought was an interesting bend or arch. We'll take a look and see how that's pinned on the other end. Looks like it was just pulled over into this arch, and take a look at the other end. It was or is a living sapling at one time. It's been pulled down and shaped like that. I always noticed whenever I see these arches, as in the case with this one right here, yeah, somewhere along that arch you'll see a leaner right here leaning on it. You step back. Yeah, there's your arch, and there's the leaner crossing it, continuing on up there. Interesting to say the least, viewed from the other side. There's a leaner. Crossing through the arch, which is right there. Lots of deadfall. I think some of it's intentional. And others are, a lot of these trees and branches I see laying everywhere are caused by high winds and storm. And we've had our share of it in the last month or so. another tree bend or arch. They're all over this section. Pinned down on the top. Another huge snap due to whatever. Snapped right at the ground. Just splintered down to the ground. Snapped off about 6 feet up. Splintered all the way to the ground. Living tree. I'm not getting all this. I apologize. I got sun directly reflecting off my display screen. You guys see anything suspicious? Go ahead down to the comment section of this video and give me a timestamp. Let me know what I missed, what I didn't see, what you potentially saw, and I appreciate it. We're gonna sort of do a slow pan back to the trail I was originally on. I sort of went out in a U sweep to my left here and then just came back on the trail I was on. You can see directly in front of me. Okay, be back with you in a second, guys, and we'll resume in a minute. Okay, I'm back, guys. I just crossed this creek bed right here. Side of this creek bed and walked up the bank here, and we're going to proceed in this direction up here. I just heard a strange whistle in that direction, sort of a type whistle. I usually don't like doing that. I don't like doing audibles and calling any potential bipeds in like some people do. I'm by myself and more looking for evidence. If it leads to a sighting, that's something I'll deal with when I cross that bridge. Okay, we're going to proceed up this trail. There's another break right there. A nice snap. Really thickly brushed and forested area here. A lot of undergrowth because of all the rain. So we'll proceed up here, up the hill. Weird manipulated tree when it was young, and it's growing at an archway facing up. It bends upwards. Very strange. It comes out of the ground and does a 90 to the left. We'll look over the edge of this hillside into the creek bed. Get a vantage point right here. There's a creek down there. I'm going to sort of pan and see what I can pick up. It's so thickly brushed, it's hard for my autofocus to lock in on any distant objects and resolve them clearly. I'm looking up the hill here and see what I can see. And I'll have to apologize, guys. This is only the second time I've used this camera, and I'm still getting used to it. we're going to head back this way. What do you make of this? It's leaned right up into that other fir tree right here, right where that weird tree is underneath it. That's me shaking it. And that's the bottom of it right here. Yeah. Apparently brought to this spot and leaned up against this fir tree right there at the top. No roots or anything here. Yeah, that's a break off right there. Yeah, that's a break off. Following this game trail down this hillside. I reached a clearing, sort of a muddy washout area where nothing grows, right in this region here. It's a good area to look for trackways and prints. A lot of alkali water settles in this area from the washout from all the minerals and clay on this hillside above. This living tree here, as you can see, has been pushed over, or maybe due to wind and washout conditions, it ended up falling over. It's still alive and it's growing at this radical angle, damn near parallel to the ground. Living pine tree. Looks not a pine tree, but It appears to be an oak tree. Generally, they're pretty deeply rooted. Yeah, it's an oak tree, or it's in one of the oak family. We have a lot of black and yellow and white oak out here. Predominantly yellow and white oak grows in this area along with hickory. A lot of deciduous trees. Okay, we're going to pick up this trail on the other side of this washout here. Taking this leaf-covered game trail. Taking a shortcut to this small ridge line over these these muddy flats here. See the muddy flats in the distance. Short little 8 to 10 foot rise up into a ridge I'm walking above right now. Don't see the amount of tree breaks and deadfall as I did in the other area. Of course, it's not as thickly brushed and not as woody. Of course, there's a dead tree right in front of me. There's a break off from the storms or high winds. Assuming it broke off from overhead somewhere up there. Deer tracks right here. There's abundance of game in this area, I'll say that. Turkey vulture flying over. I don't know if I caught that. Navigate through this area. Back to an area where I discovered a foundation of an old dwelling, a house or a building of some sort that had a huge fireplace in it. A lot of acorns and oak trees everywhere. Everywhere I look, I see acorns embedded in this mud. Yes, here's that structure. Remnants of this structure. I filmed this once before in a previous video, and now it's all overgrown. That was several months ago during the winter. Back of a fireplace, which is part of a dwelling. Walk around to the front of it. You're looking at it. If we can see it, it's pretty well overgrown. Might not be able to see the front of it. Oh, it's thickly overgrown. But there it is, right there. It's the front of the fireplace, all overgrown with weeds. Back out of here. I always remember to thoroughly check myself for ticks after going through areas like this. There's a slide from a deer right there. Good area for tracks. Good trackway. doing some zooms in an area I just walked out of. You'll never know what you encounter until you check an area you were just in. I always like looking on my back trail. You never know what you'll encounter. I've seen deer reverse direction and cross behind me. Well guys, I'm signing off for now. I'll pick you up farther down the trail. I'm back, guys. Walk up this trail here. Came from that area. And we're headed in this direction on this game trail. Plenty of deer tracks everywhere. Appears to be a makeshift X right here. They don't necessarily have to touch, but I find that interesting directly on blocking a game trail. We'll proceed. Let's see where I can. Very weird area. I've been by here before, but I was always 20-30 yards below it. It's a washout area with a lot of dead limbs, dead trees right below that rise. Right here. We're going to proceed down here. Follow it downhill. Another lean in the crook of this tree. Don't know where it came from. It's not growing here. It was brought here. way up this washout, this sandy washout. There's a drainage, or a drip as some people call them, washing down the side of this section of rocky outcrops, this sandstone, resulting in all this mud below here, which I'm going to walk out of. Not sure what to make of this. Stand over here on the other side of it, I might be able to get a better picture of this impression. That could be a double step from a deer. Too blurry to say. Great ground for impressions. Very soft, somewhat muddy. As you can see, it's hard enough where it doesn't leave a track for me if I put my foot here, and hardly leaves any impression. No impression at all, or very little. What do you make of this? I find this sort of unusual. That stick right there, Y-shaped end, pitchfork end. That stick, stripped of its bark, get on the other side of it. Has been stuck in the mud. I find that unusual. What is it, a marker? Find that very strange. Just stuck in the mud. Thought this was unusual too. Not far from that stick is an obvious tree bend. Right there. Sticks It's right over here. Something to definitely wonder about. Well guys, thanks for coming along. This will be the end of my video. I'm sorry if it was boring. It's my first venture out after my surgery, and I'm trying to go easy on myself. So thank you, and hope I showed a little evidence, at least what Illinois sometimes will have more than most people realize, and I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. I thank you for viewing my video.